KRBE, a Cumulus media station.
Good morning, everyone.
We ready?
Live from the TXU Energy Studio.
The Roula and Ryan Show with producer Eric, Special K, and Sam.
Don't forget, an hour from now, Try It Tuesday.
Try It
Roula,
Tuesday.
We're trusting you right now.
I'm bringing in my spicy special, my favorite summer drink. It kind of creeps up. Last night I was testing it to make sure I can make it for mass. Like there's six of us. I gotta make six of them. I usually make them one at a time. I was like, oh, I gotta go fast. I was like, whoo, this is my third round.
So in other words, in 1 hour, Try It Tuesday, 1 hour and
it's
5 minutes.
Show. It'll be the drunk show.
I need it. I need that spiciness to open up my sinuses and stuff.
All right, we're going to do the spicy special. It's my alcoholic summer drink. And so it's 1 hour from now, Try It Tuesday.
Now, it's time for Roula and Ryan's Revenge.
For the truly wronged, sometimes all you have left is revenge.
104.1 KRBE.
All right, parental discretion is advised. Last week on Roula and Ryan's Roses, rather than tell you about it, we can just play you like an abbreviated version of it.
A little recap between Jack and Thomas.
And this is Jack telling us why he needed to be on revenge.
I've been living in my house with my wife for about 3 years now. The real problem is my next-door neighbor, Thomas, and every time his wife goes out of town, I guess she travels or something like that a couple times a month, Thomas has been inviting people and specifically women over.
Well, can I stop you here for a second? Because, I see this as a no-win scenario if you get involved. Like, in other words, why would you want to get involved? This guy, he's going to hang himself eventually, wouldn't you think?
The problem is his wife has become friends with my wife, Catherine, has become friends with his wife, Joanne. What's really started to bug Catherine and I is the fact that every time Joanne goes out of town, we know he's having women over, and now I've seen him tiptoeing out of his house in the morning and bringing things over to our trash can. And so I went in there and I checked it out, and of course, it's condoms and beer cans and everything else. What really pissed me off, I went out of town. I just went on a weekend with a couple of my buddies to go fishing, and I get back, and Catherine tells me that this has actually asked Catherine to come over while his wife is out of town and while I'm out of town. And after a couple of no thank yous, he came over and knocked on the door. She said about 10 o'clock, 10:30, saying, let's have some fun, baby.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
sorry.
Somebody rings my doorbell at 10 or 10:30, I'm going to get my gun.
Yeah.
I have my gun on me looking at you people. I'm like, what? Who is it?
Thomas is talking to Kevin right now. He's not heard any of this. He just knows Roula and Ryan want to talk to him.
Hi, welcome to the Roula and Ryan Show on 104.1 KRBE. Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning.
Hey,
Hi.
Thomas. So have you heard the Roula and Ryan Show before?
I have not.
Okay. Well, on Tuesdays, we do a little segment where we bring people together, so to speak.
His name is Jack. You know Jack, right, Thomas?
Hey, Jack, what up, buddy? I just need to get this out. When your wife goes out of town, that you're bringing over women and you're having parties and you're doing your thing. And Catherine and I, we're fine with it. You know Catherine and Joanne have become friends, and we want to stay out of it. We're a little concerned for Joanne, but whatever. That's your life. What's really pissed me off, man, is that when I went out of town about 3 weeks ago, you went over to our house at about 10 o'clock at night and had the to ask Catherine if she wanted to come over and party with you. And I can't remember exactly what you said, but I think it's along the lines of, let's have some fun, baby.
I think you're mistaken, dude.
So you're calling my wife a liar.
I'm not calling her a liar. I'm just saying that I think you've misunderstood the situation, okay?
Did you go talk to his wife at 10 o'clock at night?
I figured I'd just check in on her because I knew that Jack Boy was at a center.
Wait. You thought you'd check in on his wife at 10 or 10:30 at night.
Bet you wanted to.
Just coincidentally while your wife is out of town.
My wife's out of town all the time. I know it gets kind of lonely.
You're having parties all the time. You're dropping off your condom wrappers and your beer cans in my trash can.
Yeah, what's that about, Thomas? Why are you using Jack's trash can?
To be completely honest, they border up against the fence where my trash cans are sometimes.
Well, I've got a little news for you, buddy. Catherine got everything you did the other night on tape.
Ruh-roh.
That's right. We have you banging on the door, asking to come over and have some fun. Beer in hand, bud. We just got you walking around the lawn trying to just have a party with whoever's going to come over.
Jack, don't do this, okay, man? You're messing with my life.
You know what? This is your problem, man. I'm tired of dealing with it. And now that you've talked to my wife, you've crossed the line. And we're fixing this.
You're a Jack.
Yeah, and he hung up at that point.
Yes. And then what happened?
Well, let's find out.
We welcome him back to the... Is it Jack, right?
Yes.
Jack. I was like going back and forth listening to that, and I was like, I'm forgetting whose voice is which one. I was like,
Jack is the one that got revenge on Thomas.
Jack is back with an update. What's happened since then? Good morning.
Hey, what's happening?
Did you have a major confrontation or what?
Guys, it was actually the weirdest thing that I've ever been a part of. I went with Catherine, and we showed her the videos. I showed her like 3 videos from my phone, and we had footage from our surveillance camera. And we thought she was going to be shocked. Catherine had talked to her a couple of times and was like convinced she was going to just like storm out of the house and leave. She was unfazed by the whole thing.
You think maybe she was embarrassed?
She just kind of shrugged it off. She was like, yeah.
Like she knew?
I guess. From what she told me, she knows the way Thomas is. And I think she just likes the way she lives. She said, they're comfortable. They have a good home. They like the area. And so she's really just not messing with it. She just kind of lets him do his thing. I don't think they even talk that much.
Wow.
Really?
So they're essentially roommates then.
That means our revenge didn't work because now you got to live by a guy.
She apologized that, he did that to Catherine, but she didn't really have anything else to say about his character. She was embarrassed that we knew that that's the way they live, but she didn't really care about what he does.
Well, Jack, here's what's strange. When Thomas originally was confronted, he was like, oh, screw you guys and blah, blah. Maybe it just was embarrassing to him.
No, Roula, he said, you're messing up my life. You're ruining my life.
Yeah, so maybe it's because, look, he's on the radio. People recognize people's voices all the time. Who knew who's listening to him? So maybe Thomas was more embarrassed about somebody recognizing Thomas.
Does he make a lot of money?
Makes a lot of money. I mean, they both got Beamers. And they're in a big old house right next to me.
Maybe she's used to that lifestyle and, cut that in half.
Well, also, the whole thing about Thomas being embarrassed about getting ruined, like I said, maybe it was outside of the realm of just his wife.
Maybe he talked to her before.
No, I think what Roula's saying makes
so
a
he
lot of sense.
Him,
in
or
other
his
words,
clients are like, oh, my God.
His wife has come to accept the fact that, hey, he's a piece of crap and this is how we have to live, but he doesn't want the whole world knowing that that's how he is. Yeah, I mean, oh, my God. You think that doesn't happen? None of us know what happens behind closed doors, but I do think he got some kind of revenge because you made the guy sweat, and he's probably worried that his lifestyle's exposed.
Yeah. He hates you for sure.
Yeah.
I still think you just got more awkwardness going on than revenge.
And what have we learned from this? You know what? When you see some shady behavior of your neighbors, stay out of it. Just stay out of it. I get it that you were pissed that he came after your wife.
Step 1, you try and sleep with my wife.
Turn the page.
You gotta watch your home. What was that movie?
The Campaign.
Yeah, The Campaign. You'll know the
Steal
rest
my
of it.
kid. Turn the page. Your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Jack, thank you for checking in with us, and best of luck to you in the awkward living situation you guys have now. Let's see who's going to last on the block. Will they move out first, or are you guys going to find a new house?
Yeah, which one?
Take care of yourself, Jack.
Sure, thanks, guys.
All right, take care.
There's nothing worse than moving. I would stick it out as long as I could. I hate moving.
Yeah.
Moving is the worst thing in the world. I hate it so
Have you
much.
guys ever known anybody where it was clearly a loveless marriage and they were just in it because they were too entrenched in their lifestyle? Like, in other words, neither one of them kind of a cheaper to keep him
I hate
type
that
situation.
phrase, by the way. I hate that phrase that you say cheaper to keep her.
Well, keep him also.
Doesn't
So
rhyme
think
as
of
well.
a new rhyme thing. Then think of a new rhyme because it's so sexist to say it's cheaper to keep her. Cheaper to keep her.
What would the rhyme be for the other way?
You gotta think of something else. It
Cheaper
just
to
makes
keep
more
him.
financial sense to not split versus split. We've had people call our show that live together still because it is too expensive to divorce. Yesterday we talked about what does it cost to divorce. People were texting us one person's divorce was costing upwards of $35,000, while Eric's was for $600 or something crazy.
It's scary as a parent when
From his first wife.
when you think about your kids.
Yeah, you don't want
We're
them
gonna
to
get married
face this.
someday, and we're gonna meet these future son-in-laws
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like, and chances are they might not work.
Well, there's
Say
a
that.
more than 50% chance it won't.
Well, that's not
Even the dating
positive.
part, all the stuff. It's like that's why it's so hard for
Dating
for
work
men
sucks, too.
to really let these guys into your world because first of all they're sleeping with your daughter. That's weird.
Now, do you have house rules?
Way to paint the picture.
You got that going on, and then you don't know if they're going to be.
You can talk to my dad about all this.
Are they going to be loyal?
Yeah.
Your parents allow you to sleep in your
No.
bedroom with?
No,
Okay.
absolutely.
Even when my
not.
daughter had a boyfriend in college and he came to visit, I'm like, you're not staying in that room.
Yeah, no. I think
way.
the only time
My
Mike
house,
and I
my
stayed
rules.
together was when we were engaged. Yeah.
Did it take a while for your dad to get along with Mark?
Yes
Yeah,
and no.
that's you.
feel
Because you
You're
like-
the
met him in
girl.
college. Were you away at college when you met him, or you were close to your mom and dad's house?
Oh, no, I was in college when I met Mark.
I know, but was that far from where you live?
It's about 2.5 hours
Okay,
away,
so it's not
maybe?
in the same town.
Yeah. No,
So
no, no.
how
it's a
long were
drive.
y'all dating before your parents actually met him, or he came home for some event with
Oh,
you?
super.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
Hey,
Mark and I started
Crotch.
dating, in
Hey, Crawl.
October. And he came home for Thanksgiving.
And that was because he didn't have anywhere else to go, or didn't have any family, or you were just
No,
that
he has
quick to be
family.
like,
I just thought I'd invite him because
it's
I
like,
like
hey,
him.
this is Crawl, Dad.
That's like, keep thinking the son-in-law.
Only the 90s.
See, I never
kids
saw
know
that movie, Son-in-law with Pauly Shore.
I love that movie.
Son-in-law is a
I don't
movie,
think I've seen
Sam,
that either.
and
It's
it's
like 30
so
years old.
campy. It's terrible. I don't even know if it repeats, but it is Carla Gugino, who was on Spy Kids. She's been on all these things.
Sin
She's a
City.
Spy Kids mom, Sin City. And she goes to college. She's a little town in Oklahoma, I think it was. And she goes off to college, and Pauly Shore is the RA on her floor. And his nickname is Crawl. Hey, I'm Crawl. And so she's going home for Thanksgiving, and she
She's with
thinks
her
that her
boyfriend.
little hometown boyfriend's going to propose to her, and she now has had her eyes open to the world. Like, there's more to life than getting engaged at 18 and getting married and living on the farm. So she brings Crawl home for Thanksgiving because he doesn't have
God.
any family. And then she realizes this guy wants to propose to her. She goes, "Oh, I can't. I'm engaged to him." And so it was like this whole thing where the parents
City
were
guy
like,
versus and the country boy.
and then
okay.
the dad couldn't get on board with Crawl, and
was
he
like-
kept calling him crap.
And let
crotch.
me guess, because I've never seen this movie. By the end of the movie, she falls for Crawl.
I can't remember. If,
It doesn't go exactly that way.
plus, Tiffany Amber Thiessen's in it.
Oh yeah, she's the bad girl.
Yeah, she's a bad girl.
Trying
This
to
was before
mess
Melrose, 90210.
Yeah.
Right.
After Saved by the Bell, before 90210.
Yep.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
girl.
Now she's just Tiffany Thiessen.
Oh,
Does
it
she
is.
just go? But she dropped the Amber, didn't she?
Amber's gone.
I don't
I
follow her
guess.
anymore.
Anyway, it's kind of like that, Sam. It's like, oh, hey, mom, and dad, this is Crawl. I mean, sorry, it's Mark with a C, not a K.
Yes.
All right, coming up next, the tipping is getting out of hand. We have mentioned this before, how it's very frustrating that you are purchasing, I don't know, like a candy bar and some gum, and they turn the screen around and say, okay, pick one and
The
give me your
worst
signature.
is at the
You're like, what the hell
airport.
is this thing for?
At the airport in the self-checkout, there's no people involved. And would you care to leave a 10% tip? I'm like, no.
Even like
Why would I do
like
that?
Smoothie King. I love Smoothie King. I was there. Was it Friday? Last weekend. And they flipped that thing around to tip. I'm like, well, they did the work. To
They put
make
extra
it.
banana
put the
in my
fruit in the
Gladiator.
blender.
I'm like, but I'm paying a lot to, for
It's an $8
for
smoothie.
it's a good smoothie. Shouldn't that be part of your job?
So you tell
So
us
I'm like,
what
do
you
I-
do,
yeah.
and we'll tell you if you deserve a tip.
Any job. If you have a job, and we're going
Any
to decide
job.
if there's a way you should get a tip.
And we'll find out, and then we're going to have our eyes opened up like we should be tipping someone we're not tipping. 713-390-KRBE.
It's the Roula and Ryan show. Y'all, I was looking up the concept of tipping in America, how it began. It dates all the way back to the 1850s and 1860s. That's when the tradition started. Because it was wealthy people. They would tip for superb service.
So the Richies started that.
Yeah, they really did. They wanted to seem aristocratic. They were actually kind of copying Europeans. So that began like Civil
Who's
War
peeing
times.
where?
European what?
European.
One? Okay, so we're doing a tipping topic because a lot of people these days are complaining that I didn't even get a tip for this, and others like I didn't even know I was supposed to tip you. And then many of us have been stuck in that weird position where the person flips the iPad around and says, "Can you make a choice and give me your autograph?" That's how they
And you're
rogue
like,
tell you give me a tip.
You didn't do anything.
Somebody text. I remember this. Where you put your dog up for a night at one of the places. Those
Yeah.
boarding,
Boarding,
yeah,
yeah.
doggy daycare.
They did one night and they got the dog and then they flipped it around and then said, "Would you like to tip?" And they're like, "Well, am I supposed to tip for that?"
Yeah. Okay. So
Is that
that's
part
what
of
we're
the price?
asking.
So it's like
The dog is in
What
a
do we
crate
tip?
like 19 hours a day.
It says here the number one place where Americans forget to tip but should always leave at least $3 is in the hotel for your housekeepers.
I've never done that.
You don't
I
tip
think
the
I've done it.
housekeepers?
I think I've done it one time.
I only do
Maybe
it at
twice.
an Airbnb where they have hired a little service to come through.
Why an Airbnb versus a hotel?
You know, I feel like the hotel is paying their folks nicely and outright, and it's all, regimented. But an Airbnb, they found some little, abuelita service who works with her daughter.
Do you put it in an envelope or do you just leave it on the dresser?
Well,
Yeah, because I know the owner's not taking the cash and never.
Yeah, somebody's
going to
see that and they're like, ooh, look at that's for me.
I have seen a lot of times an envelope left there for me to place the money into.
I've never seen that. But honestly,
So they're
Special K,
pressuring you
I
to
would think
tip.
the opposite.
Yes.
I feel like if they hired the housekeeping service, they're getting that flat fee themselves as opposed to housekeepers. According to this article, it says it's $1 per person per day in your hotel room, a minimum of $3 to $5 per day for your hotel.
Or you just tip the first day.
housekeepers.
It's like a bartender. You tip them big the first time. That way you get the good service the
that
rest
right?
of the night.
All right, Madison's up first at 713-390-KRBE. You
All
tell
right,
us what you do. We're going to see if that is tip worthy. Hi, Madison. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Madison. So what is it you do for a living?
I was a barista about a month ago, but I started as a medical assistant now.
Okay.
But when I was a barista at Starbucks, tipping culture was very big, but me and my coworkers, and 9 times out of 10, a lot of people feel this way, it is not necessary to tip. We all believe that it was just a way for corporate to not pay their employees as much because they rely on our customers to tip us, when I feel like that's not right. I feel like corporate companies should be able to pay you enough a livable wage
You're
where
right.
you don't have to rely on
You're right.
Wow, so
They
you're
ba-
saying you
basically
don't
these
feel
big
bad if
companies.
you don't tip at Starbucks is what you're saying.
Sam, there you
Madison.
go.
Don't feel bad, but I will say this. We did have a lot of regulars that we did go above and beyond. Like, I would see someone walk in who came in on a regular basis
Mm-hmm.
and already had their drink ready, and they really loved that. And so they would always leave us like
Oh, I
$1 or
would
two.
definitely tip you for that.
Yeah,
If you saw me coming and you already had my drink ready, I would definitely tip you for that.
Yeah, like you're a regular.
One more real
Love
quick
that.
question
Yeah.
about the tip level of Starbucks. What about, are you treated the same if you're the Starbucks employee inside the grocery store versus the Starbucks employee in an actual Starbucks? Is that different? Like, should we tip them more than we should tip you?
Probably less pressure in the grocery
I
store.
feel so. Fun fact about Starbucks that are inside of like Targets and Kroger's, they're owned by Target and Kroger.
Okay.
They're not owned by Starbucks.
Right.
So
they just train them to
they're
do the
similar.
coffee.
Yeah, they're similar, but there is a lot of big differences. I would say it's honestly the same. Like, either way about tipping, if you feel like they go above and beyond for you, then yeah, go ahead and leave them a nice little tip to let them know that their work is appreciated. But if they're just doing their job and they got you your coffee and nothing exciting happened, then just pay for your drink and go.
So basically what
All
you're
right,
saying
Maddie,
is
thank
we're
you.
helping these big companies get even more profits because they don't pay their employees and the employees rely on us to pay them.
That's what sucks when you got to rely on the customer.
And did we address this? Are they actually getting that $1 or $2 that you hit the button on, or is that going to the company and
skim?
allegedly split up between them at the end of the week?
Yeah.
You
Are
know?
you splitting the tips on the app? If you tip on the app, I guess the app gets
Does it go
updated
directly
now.
to you or do you have to split it in a pot?
So whenever it comes to like the tips that you can leave on your mobile app, those do get split between the people who work that shift. I'm not exactly sure how. Like, my manager used to show me like how it works, but depending on the time of day that they left the tip, the people who were working that shift, it gets split between them. So if like someone comes in the morning and leaves a tip, the night people aren't going to see it. But vice versa, someone at night tips, the morning people won't see it. I used to work a lot of like 4 a.m. to 10 o'clock shifts.
Oh, wow.
So
That's a tough one
And
there.
that was like our busiest time. And that was actually like our peak times where we got a lot of tips.
So really the only way to like make sure the money gets to you in person is to hand them cash.
Yeah.
I guess so. But then don't they still have to put that in the tip jar and then
Who has
split
cash
that?
nowadays?
All right, we're asking if you're just tuning into the
Right.
Roula and Ryan show. We're
And
asking
everything's on
about
an app.
Yeah, everything's on an app now. We're asking what is your job and do you expect a tip? Do you expect a tip and are we supposed to tip?
Or you tell us the job
We're
and we'll
gonna-
be like, maybe
we're
you
gonna
should
be
get a tip for that. Like a teacher,
Yeah.
I think a teacher should get a tip.
Yep.
Well,
They
is
do
that what the
parent
Christmas
night?
gift is called,
Yeah.
or the holiday gift that you're giving them? Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Bribe
happy
agreed.
spring, or okay. Joshua's up next. Thanks for calling, Madison. Joshua's up next. Joshua, hi. Welcome to the Roula and Ryan show. What do you do for a living?
So I'm the guy that does your oil change whenever you go to either a Take 5 or a Jiffy Lube, or whenever you bring your car back to the dealership to get an oil change. I'm the guy that does that.
Okay,
Oh, wait,
so
are we supposed to tip that person?
We're a jury
we're
here.
hiring
Let's
you
decide.
for a
Tipping jury.
service. Why are we supposed to tip that?
No, we walk into a store and that is the job.
What do you guys
are
say?
supposed to do. I've never tipped the Jiffy Lube
This
guy.
conversation makes me so uncomfortable. The amount of hate I feel like we're going to get.
No, we're
for
giving education,
responses.
Sam.
I mean, honestly,
because if
why-
we don't know if
My
this-
oil change is so expensive,
right,
dude.
Sam.
for
So the
my-
Why should
question
we be
is, hold on.
tipping him?
The question is,
'Cause he's the one
we are
doing
not
the work.
tipping. Are we supposed to be? This is
Yeah.
what we're trying to
We're
learn.
the jury. We say no.
Joshua, we don't think we're supposed to tip you. Do you expect a tip?
Okay, so I've gotten tips. I used to work at Jiffy Lube, and I've gotten tips before. Now, the reason you should tip me, the guy who does the oil change, is usually you speak to a service advisor, and they're the guy that sells you the oil change, a tire rotation, or maybe they're going to try to sell you filters.
That dirty filter from the back that they're saying is yours?
Yeah, it's not even
and it's not
same
actually
car.
yours? Saw that scam. Okay, yes.
So
your
they're
service
the guys
agent.
that sit in the AC the whole time, but I'm the guy that's actually under your hood, because most people drive around all day, and then they'll come in with a hot hood. And,
that's true.
Hey, do my oil change.
But
and
aren't
then
you
we gotta
paid to
drain
do this
hot
service? Like, I mean, aren't you
getting
paid
a-
by the company?
Yeah, that's the job, right? It's not work for tips.
Yeah, you are. You are paid by the company. I'm not saying you should always tip them, but I've been tipped by a few people on and off just because they see that, hey, this guy's actually doing the oil change.
how do we
He's actually working.
Yeah, how do you do that? Walk back into the shop and
'cause a lot
say,
of times
here's some money?
They bring the car around, or you just get in the car and you go.
Well,
Yeah,
the dude
where do
who
I
gives
see
you
that?
the car is probably the
The
guy
other
who
guy,
did the
that's usually the
service.
guy that is in the air conditioning.
But Jiffy Lube's really tiny, though. It's like a drive-through. It's like a really small building.
Wait, let's Joshua answer that question. How do we get you, Joshua, the oil changer, to get the tip? How do we actually interact with you?
A lot of people watch their cars. So at the dealership, some people will sit or stand in front of the bay. So where we drive out, they'll watch us work on their car.
That's a lot of pressure.
Same with Jiffy Lube. It is a lot of pressure, but it's not that bad. So a lot of people will just come up straight up to you and be like, "Hey, here you go," and then they'll just give you a tip outright without even.
Are they hoping that you're going to somehow do it faster?
Well, who knew?
I guess so. I mean, it's hard enough when people are watching you do it because you're working, and then you got the person's car that you're working on watching you do it, making sure you don't scratch it or whatever. And then some people are really picky about it.
Okay. So here's what we learned. If you're just tuning in, Joshua says he, as the oil changer, appreciates a tip because he's
But
doing the
as
hard work in the heat.
The Roula and Ryan tip jury.
I
what
say
do
they
we
do not deserve
I
a
say
tip.
no tip.
That is a job you're
I
hired
don't
to
say they
perform a
don't
service.
deserve
I'm not saying deserve
No,
it.
they're
I'm
saying
saying
don't
no.
feel obligated to
I'm
do
not-
it.
yeah.
It's a per instance situation.
Yes.
Well, now I
Okay.
feel bad, so I would probably
Next
tip
Kev-
now that I know this. I mean,
good.
I've
Hopefully
always known
Kev
this.
goes to your shop.
You have to go to
then.
Foot Locker and tip the referee when they put the shoe on your foot.
Do they still do that?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Because I buy everything on Amazon
Like,
now.
now because
sure they
someone
will
does their
help you,
job,
like,
we have to
lace
give them
it.
extra money.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It's tipping jury here on the Roula and Ryan show at 713-390-KRB. We have a famous person calling in the show.
Ooh.
Famous to the Roula and Ryan show.
Oh. Who
It's
is it?
Eric's hype man, Alex.
Oh,
Oh.
all right.
I don't. Why can't you hear me? Alex!
Oh, hello.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Aren't you Eric's hype man?
What's up?
It's not rapid fire
Yes,
day.
Alex is hype man.
All right, buddy. So what do you do?
What's up, Eric?
I would tip you because you are a very
Although
smart
while
man.
you were out, he started cheering on Rula.
Because he saw
took-
me.
Yeah, because
At my
he couldn't cheer
at my
for me,
son's
so he
play
went
date.
for second best.
Oh.
No, I was the best. When you were gone, I was the best. It's not even Steven
you want-
playing field unless
What do
we're
you do
both
for a living
playing.
again? Do you have a laundry service?
I deliver dry cleaning,
Okay.
like Amazon, but like for your clothes.
Okay.
So do you expect a tip, Alex? Are we supposed to be tipping you and we don't think so? Hold on. Before Alex tells us his answer, around the room, what do we think? Do you tip the dry cleaning delivery driver?
Yes.
I feel like this
Yeah.
is bougie, so
Yeah, that's pretty bougie.
people that
Anybody-
can afford this, they're probably tipping.
I would drive to the place
Anybody
and
that's
pick it up.
delivering something to my doorstep is getting tipped.
Well, I thought no, because they usually bring the dry cleaning. You're not home. I've gone to neighborhoods and I see Men's Warehouse stuff hanging on people's doors.
Oh, yeah, it's
Are
true.
people home to tip you? Aren't you just delivering at any random time and you're leaving button downs there?
I'd pretend not to be home, so I wouldn't have to tip.
So what's the answer, Alex? Do you expect a tip as the dry cleaner delivery guy?
I do not expect a tip, but people do tip me. Around Christmas time, they'll leave like little envelopes in the bag that I give them.
Oh, nice.
And so that's how I get the tips.
Well, that's nice because they get to know you. I guess you have the same route all the time?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So then that goes on the same level of like your post person. Your post person has your route. Do you tip your post person like you tip Alex?
Go ahead.
What do y'all think?
I think that yes, because but if they're actually physically carrying the bag around in this hot heat, I think
I've
that they
never seen
deserve
that.
it.
Yeah.
In a truck, I know there's no AC in that truck.
That's a hot tin
I just
can all
can't.
day.
I
I'm
can't
supposed to
get
tip
over there.
them.
But I mean, I have like a different
give 'em a
mail
gift,
person
give 'em a
like
gift.
every other day.
If you know them, like my parents' mail lady, I forget her name, but she has been the same mail lady for over 20 some years. She still asks about me. So my parents give her like things for all of the holidays.
Yeah, the holidays.
Yeah,
but
but-
not
Because
on
they
the
know
regular
her.
basis.
But yeah, but
now
I
it's
don't know
different.
Mine changes.
I don't know who my mail person is.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, the jury is delivery, dry cleaning, generally no, but your people know you, so they tip you. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We'll see you on the next round.
There's a lot of people. We should come back because there's somebody that works for HOA. Ahmad
where's
said
that?
I'm number 3.
Oh, yeah, just called in.
And wants-
administrative assistant for the HOA.
They think they deserve a tip.
How do you even get
The tipping jury is in. It's 713-390-KRB. Lines are full. Tell us what your job is. We'll discuss if that job deserves a tip or not next on the Roula and Ryan Show.
It's KRB with more of the Roula and Ryan Show.
I think the tipping thing is so out of control. I mean, people that want to be tipped this day and age, I mean, for things
everywhere though, right?
that they're just, I mean,
Turn
you were
the iPad
hired for that
around.
job. Why do I need to tip you?
And they say, choose an option and give me your autograph.
I am no cheap
And you're
Charlie.
like,
You know that.
Oh, great.
Someone said it on
Yeah,
text
I
here.
guess.
If you get paid less than minimum wage doing a service job, then tips should be given. But anything over that,
But they should put that up like at the store.
Let us
Less
know.
than minimum wage, you're saying,
We
right?
do that.
Kevin?
I work for a company that
Okay.
pays me crap.
So if
they
you
expect you to pay.
Well, if you get paid minimum wage, then that person should not get tipped according to that texter. Because what we know about service industry, servers are paid $2.13 an hour because the tip is their income.
How do they get around that, though?
I don't know why that's been the law forever. Y'all, that's been the law since I can remember.
I just got
as
back
a
from
restaurant
Europe.
person.
They don't tip.
You don't have to tip. I gave little, give like $1.
But they think it's
a
weird when
coin.
you tip.
Yeah, you just leave
They
a little
do.
bit, like a 50.
That's why when Europeans visit us, Eric,
They
servers clinch.
They don't
because
tip.
you're like, oh no, they think it's included and it's
Yeah.
not.
But they do great service.
It's just real slow for 3-hour
But they weren't
lunches.
slow. Like,
No, but they're paid much better.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you deserve a tip for the job that you do? Adrian is up next. 713-390-KRB. Hello, Adrian.
Good morning.
Good
Hi.
morning. What do you do for a living?
I used to work for a church, and I was their funeral and wedding coordinator.
Okay. So are you talking about your tip or tip for the clergy, or who was the tip taker there?
Right. Yes. So I was not given any sort of a tip. I was paid by the church to help, and I'm speaking specifically on funerals for this tipping piece. Weddings is a secondary job for a pastor. They can choose to do it or not, and it's kind of just it's kind of an expectation. You're gonna tip the pastor just like you tip everybody with weddings. For a funeral, though, it is actually written into their code of ethics, I guess, that they should not ask or expect a tip for a funeral. However, a lot of clergy, despite, kind of just showing up the day of the funeral, yes, okay, they're there for the family and their grief, but I feel like it's a lot in this industry, the funeral industry. They kind of feed off of that grief, unfortunately, and there's this expectation of you should be tipping me.
Really?
And so I was consistently put in this super uncomfortable situation where the families would be coming to me and saying, well, should I be tipping the pastor? How much should I give the pastor?
For the funeral
I had
service.
clergy.
Okay.
Yes.
Gosh.
And I would have clergy telling me, oh, yeah, no, you need to tell them this is a customary amount. Which
What's the customary amount? I'm just curious.
terrible.
Yeah,
What's
how
the
much-
customary amount?
You're burying your
well,
loved one and
yeah,
you got to
so-
shell at the cash.
Yeah, the church that I was working at, they would have me tell people that the customary amount was $300.
Oh, whoa. I was thinking $50.
I mean, for $300,
And I
you're
would
going to
feel-
dig the grave.
Joking.
Right. And you feel horrible. I felt horrible. I would always preface it with saying this is not an expectation. This is not a requirement.
Right.
But again, you're grieving, you're fed on grief. And so these people are just working. I mean, they would give more than that because they were like, oh, no,
Wow.
they're just giving into everything. It's just such a, I don't know, that whole business, that whole side of it, especially like I said, it's the clergy side of it, not just the funeral homes that are doing it.
But where's it stopped? I mean, do you tip the person that painted up your dead person to make them look good in the coffin? I mean, where does it stop? I mean, you got to
can't
tip
say it,
everybody?
like, more respectful than that.
Paint it up.
You know.
Paint it up.
Put some
with your
more
dead
paint on
person.
my grandma.
They have a name.
You mean
The makeup.
Mortician and stuff.
Yeah, you tip the mortician.
I mean,
No, you're paying for that service.
Okay, how about
Well,
this
that's
one,
what
Kevin?
we're paying for most of these services.
Wait, I have a question for Special K, because Special K and I are the two in the room that have had laser hair removal.
Yes.
When you go get a laser hair removal session, do you tip?
Okay, here's how I work that out. If this is
free, so he'll tip.
If this is a like a real medical med spa type of place,
right,
with licensed professionals in there,
most of them are. You shouldn't be doing it anywhere but that kind of place.
Where are you going? Some back
girl,
alley?
You know I got some Groupons that I have now that I don't get
like
endorsements.
Sam's Groupon massage.
Okay.
I
even tipped after that too. Dang it!
I've gone to some shady
so
back
you don't
room.
tip if it's an official med spa like
I
licensed
don't.
place. You
And
don't
a lot
tip.
of times they tell you like this is we don't do tipping here. Like
Got
no.
it.
And I've had people refuse tips for me, and that's why I actually stopped because I was going to one specific med spa that had some very not invasive but like some real treatments that you needed to be licensed and regulated on. So they were like no, don't tip here. But I went to another shady back room place down here on Westheimer to get laser hair removal.
Why are you doing that?
Because I was between endorsements. I couldn't get it for free anymore.
Because it's not cheap. Okay, the
So
reason I
I got
asked
it
that,
done, I
Kev,
tipped.
so you tipped when it was free. You
I
didn't
tried
tip when
to-
you paid.
I tried to
Oh, you
tip-
didn't tip when it was licensed.
Right. I don't tip when it's licensed. I do tip when it's just, a small establishment doing little facials and laser hair removal.
Tina's up next.
But how did it turn out, though?
Yeah.
How'd the cheap place go?
Not as
you
good.
got burned.
No.
So you had hairs?
Rula, you would have laughed at the way this woman did it.
God, no,
she
I
went,
can't.
Pachoo. She jumped around on my arm like 3 inches away.
No,
like she just jumped around.
definitely
And you're not
trained.
supposed to do that. You're
No.
supposed to create a grid and
Yes.
do the whole arm
Grid.
or chest or something
Yes.
like that. Oh no, this girl was like pew 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 pew
Oh,
pew pew.
no,
I was done in 5 minutes.
Stop it.
I was
You
like,
got
well, I guess
patchy spots of hair grown out.
Patches of Roula hand.
Yeah. Okay, the reason I asked that is because Tina is making a good point. There are a lot of people in this day and age in 2023 that get fillers and Botox and laser hair removal, all the things.
Yes.
Tina, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Hi,
morning.
do you work in one of these offices?
No, I actually started getting fillers a few years ago, and I was shocked to go to doctors' offices and medical centers, and they would ask you for a tip after.
They would
And
actually
in my-
ask for it.
For a medical procedure, you've got a tip.
What?
Yes. So, like, I would get fillers or Botox, and then when it would be time to check out, fillers would be like $1,200, and then they turn that iPad around and ask for a tip.
And how much?
like, oh
and
my
they want
God.
like 10% of the
I'm broke.
of the $1,200.
That's $120
my
tip if
God.
it's 10%.
So then, do you hit custom and put in $12?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
What do you
So,
do?
You know, whenever you're doing fillers and Botox, it's always a doctor or a licensed nurse.
Yes.
So I would think that they're getting paid, a
Rather
sufficient
well.
amount of money.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and I went to a few of them, and it was all the same thing. So I went to 3 different offices, and it's the same thing.
Oh, my goodness.
So we all say
What does
no
the
to the
tipping
tip?
jury
No
say?
tipping on
No
that
tip.
one.
No tipping at the Botox filler place
That
or
seems
the...
extreme.
Because you're paying a lot of money for that, aren't you?
Like what? Then are you supposed to pay for your dentist and your pap smear? And
Yeah, I'm not tipping my gynecologist. Thanks for delivering my baby. Am I supposed to tip the gyno?
Oh man.
Or the obstetrician? Wait, when we had our baby, Sam, were we supposed to give him a tip like thanks for making it safe?
Right. Wouldn't-
Sorry if
my
we were.
doctor bill alone, I'm not tipping.
I'm just like,
Hell
okay.
no.
So, Tina, if you're just tuning in, has started getting fillers, and she said that 3 different places she's gone to ask for tips at the end when she's paying the invoice. That is something I did not
That's
expect.
insane.
Tip culture is getting
Wow and wow.
crazy.
Jury says no to that one for sure?
Yes.
Hell no.
No.
I say gray area on
What?
that one.
Depends on if your person is like, I
That's like
can't
when
extra.
Dr. Bedros and you get
Something.
liposuction done on a piece of tip after.
I
But you
paid
just-
for this.
I mean,
You
it
just
is
said the
an
word
elected
doctor.
procedure. It is. It's
But
a
they're
vanity
getting paid
procedure.
for it, though.
So
Yeah,
Listen-
no, I agree that
I
I
don't know. I
wouldn't
don't want
tip.
to look like a jerk, but,
But
at the
then
same
it's
time,
like,
that is not
what's
what I
the
expected.
difference between, fillers and haircut? Like, then you could kind of compare that or your nails
Well, I always
because
tip
it's
for haircut.
cosmetic. You know what I
You
mean?
tip for nails, you tip for
Yes,
hair.
So maybe you are supposed to
So
tip
you
for
are supposed to
this?
tip for Botox. That's a good
because
point.
it's
Both of
not
them-
surgical.
But they're both licensed professions.
Oh my God, that's
gosh,
a good
I
point,
can't.
Sam. Now I don't know.
Yeah, but you
I'm
tell all
living
your
under a rock.
secrets
I'm
to
not
the
doing it.
to the hairstylist.
Oh, yeah, you gotta
see
pay
You get
them
the tip
keep
for
it.
being a
Not
shrink.
Eric's hairstylist.
Oh, why not?
Hey, yo. Time for
You saying something there, Sam?
Loose lips.
He just buys his and puts it on.
All right, this is brought to you by Duncan. The Biden administration announced yesterday that the Houston Astros will make their World Championship visit to the White House on August 7th. The Astros visited the White House back in March of 2018 following their 2017 World Series title. So the Stros going back to the Oval Office. Last week, the Astros released a new special concept hat in honor of 713 Day. One of them was a limited edition cap created by Mattress Mac, emblazoned with a $sign and the words "Stand Up for Your Boys." The hat went on sale Thursday at the Astros team shop. Take a guess how much that hat cost.
$40.
$120.
$281.
Why 81? That's weird.
281 for the area codes. There's another area code for 713.
That's good and charge 713.
Yeah, so good point.
$281 for a Mattress Mac Astros
46.
hat.
For any hat.
Hey,
That's
I saw,
ridiculous.
I did a gig at WSS at their grand opening on Bel Air and Highway 6. They have all this sports gear and shoes. And I saw an Astros hat with the Oilers colors.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool.
Love You Blue?
That's the new, they've been doing it for a while.
The baby
Have
blue,
they?
powder blue.
That
was cool.
Ryan was talking about on 713 Day. They have a whole a jersey
Collection.
that looks like that.
Like a retro.
But
Texans
I
need
thought
to
it was
bring
kind of
that.
interesting that it's like the Astros having the Oilers colors.
Yeah, that's the thing now.
And there was a Texans hat also that
Even
had
the,
Oilers colors.
even the Rockets had that.
Did they?
I think they changed their court once.
That was, remember when they had the ones that the outfits that looked like pajamas with the stripes, the pinstripes and everything?
That was the year after they won the championship.
Yeah, they changed their uniform.
That was the Barkley, Drexler,
terrible
Pippen year.
It was the worst outfit ever. Okay, another Powerball drawing ended with no winner, so now the jackpot has soared to $1 billion. $1 billion with a B. Cash payout, $516.8 million. And
I'd tip then.
You're going to tip who?
Anybody.
The clerk that sold you the $1 billion
I'll tip you
ticket?
$100,000.
Would you really? Like, say you went into like a Circle K or something in the middle of nowhere and you won the whole $1 billion. Would you go back to that store and tip
Well, they
the
get
clerk?
a piece of it. The store that sold the
No.
ticket gets a percentage of the winnings.
would
So
do
the
that.
owner of that store scored huge.
But he's not the guy who was working behind the counter.
He didn't do anything. He just pushed a button.
If you go to that place every single day and you know that guy or that girl, then yeah, you want to kick them something just to be nice. Here's $500.
You can't win.
If
It's not
you know
enough.
them,
Rula, you give them 500, they'll be like,
I want more.
$1 billion.
Yeah. Give me a
But you're
million.
right. Yeah, you can't win.
Just stay away.
You gotta go zero because nothing
people
over
get gas
that is
for
gonna
you
be
now.
enough.
I'll get one of those electric cars. You fancy boy.
Chargers.
Be fancy boy?
What is
You already
that,
are
guys?
fancy boy.
Yeah.
That cold medicine's really messing your head up.
I know.
It's good stuff.
All right, let's get to some drinking.
Yeah,
it's not the drunk show yet at the end of the year, but it might be.
Cold
coming up
medicine and
next.
alcohol. That's a great combo.
I have two things that I've brought for Try It Tuesday. One is a drink I've talked about for a long time, for years actually. I've been making this. I call it the Roula Spicy Special. It's a spicy little summer cocktail. And there's something we talked about last week about wine that had you guys, I think, confused about what I was telling y'all I was buying. So I brought that in too so I could. And Sam gets an extra bonus to take it home.
Yay!
Or maybe Kevin can fight over it with her.
I'll go over and drink it at her house.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this cocktail for you guys. Coming up next, the